Okay, let's first take a look at this. Finding a percent of a number. The word cent implies 100, so just like the word century. A percent is a number of parts per hundred. So let's take a look. 25% is, as a decimal, is written 0.25, just like a quarter, right? And that means 25 parts per 100. In other words, let me explain it this way. Percent is equal to part of a whole. So let's say, for instance, if I wanted to find a percentage of something, say 8 out of 20. What percent is 8 out of 20? Well, if you take 8 and divide it by 20, so you can do it in your calculator, you get 0.40. And you have to move 2 decimal spaces to the right. So that's 40%. Now, if you wanted to find the part and you're given the whole, this is what you do. You multiply the decimal percent times the whole. So for instance, if I have something like this, 0.4, which is 40%, I take the decimal percent, multiply it by the whole, which is 20, and I get 8. Okay, so this is just an example. So let's go ahead and take a look at example 1. Example 1, let's take a look at this question. Now, you can follow along if you look on page 24 of the book. And again, the link for the book, if you don't have the book, the link is on the Canvas page. So let's take a look at example 1. The land area of Nevada is 109,826 square miles. How many square miles in Nevada are owned by the federal government? What does that mean? It means, how much does the United States of America own Nevada? Which is, because remember, not all land is owned by the government, because some land is owned by people, some land is owned by companies, but what amount of land is owned by the government? So this is what it's talking about. So in order to find out how much land is owned by the government, this is the formula. Okay, remember, to find that part, you multiply the decimal percent times the whole. Now, let's take a look at Nevada. How do you change 84.5 into a decimal? You move it over 2 spaces. So you write it as 0.845. So here you put the decimal percent, which is 0.845, and times it by the whole. What is the whole? The whole is 109, 8,026. Okay. Now in your calculator, go ahead and multiply that. What do you get? Okay. As you see, you get 92,802.97. Now, we just want it rounded off, so let's go ahead and round that off. If you round that off, that's 92,803, and there you go. This is how you do example 1. Okay. Now, the good part, this is a video, so you can always rewind it, slow it down, rewind it, repeat it if you need to. So let's go ahead and go to example 2. Example 2. There is about 117 million households in America. Use a circle graph to estimate the number of pet dogs in the United States. So, if you take a look at this, this is called a pie chart. Okay? Just like a pie is round and it's like a piece of the pie. So let's take a look. How do we calculate the number of pet dogs in the United States? So let's first take a look at the formula. I'm going to give you part equals decimal percent times the whole. So let's take a look at the households with no dogs. How many households have no dogs? So the first thing we have to do is we have to put in the decimal percent. And it's 61%, so we got to change it into a decimal. And that's written as 0.61. And the whole is 117 million, so write that in there. Now, using your calculator, you're going to multiply that. And if you multiply that, 0.61 times 117 will give you 71.37. I'm sorry. And obviously, we're gonna round off. Remember, we learned how to round off, so we're gonna round this off to 72 million. So that's how many households have no dogs, and I am part of that household because I don't have any dogs, so I'm part of that 72 million. Now let's take a look. How many households have only one dog? Well, we got to rewrite 26.1 as a decimal, so that's going to be 0.261. All you have to do is move the decimal 2 spaces. And again, what is the whole? The whole is 117 million. Now, multiply that. What do you get? Okay. You should get 30.54. Now let's round that off. What is 30.54? That is roughly 31 million. And last but not least, let's take a look at how many households have 3 or more dogs. So 3 or more dogs, that is 3.5. Again, move it over 2 decimal places, so that's going to be 0.035 times 117 mil. That ends up giving you 4.1, which is roughly 4 million. Okay. Again, if you need to slow this down or rewind it, go ahead and do so to understand it. And we're going to move on to example 3, if you're ready. Okay. Now here, this is a Scrabble board. Now, there's 100 tiles right there that you see. So there are 9 A's, 12 E's, 9 I's, 8 O's, and 4 U's. So that's 42 vowels total. So we're going to find the percentage of each. So let's take a look. Give you an example. Percent is, again, part divided by the whole. Remember that? Okay, so let's take a look at the number of A's, the percent of A's. So the percent of A's is going to be 9 out of 42, which is the total. Remember, part is 9, the whole is 42. Divide that, and it comes out to 0.214. Well, 0.214 is about 21%. You just move over the decimal place 2 spaces. Let's take a look at E's. How many E's are there? Well, if you take a look, there are 12 E's. 12 out of 42. Which is, if you take 12 divided by 42, you get 0.285. Let's round that off and turn it into a percentage. And what would that be? That's right. That's 29%. Okay, last but not least, I'm going to give you some time. Give me the amount of U's. So do that now. I'll give you some time. Okay. If you did it, and you finished, good for you. If you didn't, go ahead and follow along. That would be 4 out of 42. 4 out of 42 gives you 0.19, which is 19%. And there you go. Okay, that concludes our lesson. And at this point, let me give you your assignment. So I'm going to give you some time to pull out a piece of paper. Okay, here's your assignment. Put your name on your paper, the period, and the date. And again, there's two ways to submit this. You can either take a picture and send it, submit it, or you can just fill in the blanks, fill in the answers. Okay, so it's going to be page 30 to 31, numbers 1, 2, 5, 10, 11, and 12. So I will be posting this on Canvas, and you could turn it in on Canvas. Thank you guys, and I hope that you have a good day, and I hope you're being nice to Mrs. Lopez. Goodbye.